Hello, everyone. We are live
Hello.
now.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for the 30-day trial podcast featuring Mick Arcade. And today we have joining us is Tummy Numner. How you doing, Tummy?
I mean, you're here every week, and I don't feel like it's a podcast without you or myself, considering we both host this particular program. But it's good that you could join us. Thank you for joining us.
Well, what if we switched roles? What if you were Tummy today? Do your best
Ooh,
Tummy impersonation.
uh, fascinating.
All right, I'll take that. How about I'll
Fascinating.
give you I'm sorry, I didn't give you enough. I need to give you an MO. Okay,
Okay.
so you're at Taco Bell and the
Okay.
cashier says we are out of everything. What do you want?
Guess I'll die.
That's perfect. Well done, everyone. You get the role.
It's
You
like
get
that
it by
meme where
default.
it's
Nobody
like
else
we're out of
auditioned.
food. It's like, don't worry, being broke prepared me for what to do. Fucking goes to sleep.
Dude, Chainsaw Man is so good. I've been following. I feel like I haven't watched things in forever, but now
Yeah.
I'm watching Spy X Family and Chainsaw Man. I'm finally caught up on all of the. I know both have mangas, but
Yeah.
the animes I'm caught up on.
I need to catch up on Chainsaw Man. I'm a couple episodes behind. I watched the first episode of Willow. I'm gonna watch the second one when
What is
we're done.
Willow? I haven't even heard of it.
Are you not familiar? Okay. So in like 87, I think, George Lucas did a fantasy movie with Ron Howard called Willow, and it's centered around Warwick Davis, who played Wicket the Ewok in Return of the Jedi. He played the Leprechaun in all the
Oh,
Leprechaun movies. But it's centered around him as the titular hero, Willow, who on his quest to become like this great powerful sorcerer, and he has to rescue like this small prince, this like baby, she's a baby, like rescue this princess. And it's great. It's a really fun, like kind of high fantasy, I don't even want to say high fantasy, but it's a really fun fantasy movie that came out late 80s. It's really fun. It's got Val Kilmer, it's got Joanne Whalley. um Literally, yeah,
Willow is it a movie or it's a show, right?
it was originally a movie, and then they are just today the first two episodes of the sequel show came out.
This came out a while ago, didn't it?
Shit, 88. Damn it. No, yeah, the movie came out in 88, but the new series came out today. Two episodes
Oh,
dropped today. Um
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's it's interesting because it's one of those things that, like, so there was a sequel novel that was awful because it basically changed everything.
Right.
Like, they took, like, even the character Willow, he's like, "Yeah, my name's not Willow anymore. It's this now." And it's just like, why didn't you just make like a whole new story? Um but it's one of those things that, like, I never really thought, like, yeah, I want to see a sequel to this. Not because it's not bad. It's just like the movie kind of is a great contained story, and
Oh,
yeah, that's kind of like it. You just never expected it.
okay.
Um, but yeah, it was good so far. Like I said, I watched the first episode, kind of introduced all the new characters, and so far so good.
I
It's
never even seen the
beautiful.
trailer for. I can never get enough fantasy stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It does have the first, like, openly queer relationship from, like, a Disney property that's, like,
Really?
yeah, I
I
mean,
thought there
this
was
I
other.
spoilers, but not spoilers, like, two of the main characters, are ladies, and they have feelings for one another. So,
How different than
yeah,
real life.
so that is, that's interesting, I think, that they finally fucking are doing that, because we've gotten a little sprinkle here and there with
That's a
Disney
big deal
like,
with Disney.
yeah. No, it's a very big
I mean,
deal,
Disney
so
still has a long way to go, but like as far as like if even Disney is doing it, it's like all right, like
yeah.
finally.
It's one of those things that, like, I said this to Courtney when we were watching. I was like, "Man, I'm really glad they kissed and we didn't get, like, fucking 8 episodes of, like, awkward, that they're going to eventually do it, and they just
Hmm.
won't fucking do it." Like, no, they pretty much instantly get it out of the way. So, yeah, like I said, that was cool. That was
This
cool to
looks
see,
so
and
much like
very
Lord of the Rings without listening to it at all.
what are you talking about? There's no queer love in Lord of the Rings, except there totally is.
It's the subtext.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes they kind of beat you over the head with it. They do everything but have a kiss.
Yeah,
So that's
Sam
sad.
is deep in that bush, if you know what I'm saying. But so, what? He'd be dropping no eaves. I don't know what you want. But uh but also I've been watching what's it called? Oh, I've been watching so much stuff recently. Um House of Dragons.
I've never watched Game of Thrones, but I'm sort of intrigued to watch House of Dragons because I'm like, it's a prequel. I don't need to know anything. Like, I could just appreciate the cool dragon
That's
shit.
kind of the elephant in the room. The dragon in the room, if you will. It's
There's no dragons in it.
there are dragons in it. Not enough,
Okay.
if you ask me.
Oh,
I think they are just
more
there
dragons,
so
please.
far.
Yeah.
And the concept of them is there. And the thing about a prequel is that you kind of know who survives. So it's like it kind of takes the surprise and
Isn't this set like way far back though? Like thousands of years before the Game of Thrones. I
it's
might
like
be wrong
I
on
want to
that.
say it's like 187 years before. Which as
That's a
far as
very
like
oddly specific number.
no, they tell you it like one of like the this
Huh.
takes place this before here. This is this many years before
I wonder
Daenerys
how they
Targaryen.
landed on that one. They're like, let's do 187 years
They have
before the
they
event.
like to think their lore is super like airtight.
I don't
It's
think that it is
I
though.
don't think
Is
that
it?
it is either.
I'm
But
not.
it does. The cool thing about this show is, and it's not a spoiler, nor do I intend to spoil it. I
Sure.
don't know how old the show is at this point because I just started watching it. It's new to me. Uh,
I think the last episode aired a few weeks back,
oh, okay. Because I've seen
maybe.
posters for
Yeah.
season 2, and I'm like, is it already out? Anyway, um, so each episode is like
Mm.
from time. Each episode is a time lapse,
Yeah.
basically. So episode 1,
Oh,
a
that's
lot
right.
of
I
period of
did.
time. Episode 2, a lot of period of time. Episode 3, it's very cool.
Okay.
And then there's a
Okay.
very big time jump in
That's right,
between.
because like the main, I remember getting a little confused. That explains it though, because like isn't the main character, quote unquote, she's played by two different actresses.
Yes, and I didn't know
That
that
explain. Okay, that
because
explains a
the
lot.
older one is in most of the posters.
Okay, okay,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
which makes sense. But
I
but
was super confused because I thought there were two
yeah,
different characters, but
they share the season like 50-50.
hmm,
So well maybe not
interesting.
50-50 actually, but still they do a lot. And the young actress that plays I can't even pronounce her name. The main character,
Yeah.
she's phenomenal. Um and there's no character I like. I don't know if I'm supposed to like any characters.
That's literally why I didn't watch Game of Thrones, because I knew so many like, I think by the time that I kinda became aware of Game of Thrones, it was, like, midway through the 3rd season, and you get enough inadvertent spoilers to that show, you're like, everybody fucking dies, and, like,
Mhm.
"Gee, Sean Bean's surprisingly missing from the posters in season
Right.
2, and he's all over it for season 1.
Mhm.
Gee, I wonder what happens to him."
Yeah.
So I had trouble getting into it in the first place, but then like I'm watching it and I'm like, I don't fucking like any of these people except Sean Bean, and I know he's gonna die.
Because
So
he's lawful good. Yeah,
yeah,
he's just a good guy. And the thing is, there's just good guys as well in Game of Thrones in House of Dragons. I forgot who. Just a good guy. There's a couple of them. And the main
is
character,
Matt Smith
she's
a good guy? I know he's in it.
no, no.
Oh,
He's
is he a
well,
piece of shit?
he's a highly complex character.
Okay,
He's like this. The way it's just basically. I'll just set the scene the way the first episode does. He's
sure.
basically Scar
Ooh,
from Lion King,
all
and
right.
the girl is basically Simba. Uh, so
I'm
that's
intrigued.
basically that exact dynamic. It's
Interesting.
so she, like being like when Scar in the beginning when he's
Oh,
like
gee.
when Simba likes to hang out with Scar like that.
Yeah.
It's exactly that.
Okay.
So it's
All
really
right. I'm kind of
interesting.
in.
The Scar's like
Just explain
that's my throne.
if
I
you.
want the throne, but
Yeah.
yeah.
That's how you should just explain Game of Thrones and sell Game of Thrones to me. Like describe it in the fashion of Lion King, and I'd be like, well.
Wow.
Who is Jon Snow in Game of Thrones? Who is his
Who-
Lion King equivalent? Timon? Pumbaa, perhaps?
Oh, geez. Probably Simba also, because he had a
Okay.
right to the throne, but he was banished away, so he wouldn't get the throne. He's probably also
Okay.
Simba. Yeah.
All right. Well, who were Timon and Pumbaa?
Timon and Pumbaa.
You're gonna piss off a lot of Game of Thrones
Oh,
fans.
I don't care. They're always pissed off. Um, I forgot his name. The guy that becomes the Meister for Jon Snow, the guy that reads a lot but no one ever listens to, and they should. He goes off screen a lot to go research stuff a lot. He's at the North Wall. I forgot his name. He was really cool. He's basically Lord of the Flies.
I
um,
did, so I was a little familiar with, like, Pedro Pascal's character with the Red Viper,
oh,
and I
he's
was like,
awesome.
this is the coolest fucking character in the
He
show,"
is
and then he
he's one
dies.
of the coolest characters in the show.
And I'm like, "God damn it."
His
Like,
death
because
was
I
a
was like, "Ooh,
travesty.
I'll watch," because like, he's awesome,
He's
and
cool.
then he gets obliterated, and I'm like,
His hubris got him
"Well,
killed
he
hard.
did. He should have fucking killed
He
that pe."
he the thing
He
is
did kill him,
he
technically.
didn't even have to continue. Like the mountain was already going down.
Mhm.
He was poisoned, like lethally
Yeah.
poisoned, but he was like,
Yeah.
"Nope, I want to keep showing off and I'm going
I'm gonna
to."
fucking flip around
Well,
like
well,
goddamn Ray Park
he
in
wanted him
Phantom
to
Menace.
admit what the mountain did.
Yeah.
Like you're dead, but I need to hear it from you.
Yeah, yeah. It's a
And
fucking powerful scene.
it's a
Like, holy
powerful
shit.
scene, but oh my god.
Brutal. Ugh.
It's a
But yeah,
complex scene,
so
and plus his dude, everything about that whole character is great. Anyway,
yeah, I love Pedro Pascal. Like he's great in pretty much everything I've seen him in. Like he's awesome in Mandalorian. He was so good in Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. He was so good in that
I still need to
movie.
watch that. It's HBO, right?
Maybe I don't know if it's on streaming yet or not, but
Hmm.
it uh it's great.
Unbearable weight of massive talents.
It might not be on like free stream. If it is, I'm gonna go fucking watch it when we finish.
Yeah, HBO.
Oh, is
Will
it
not be
you?
streaming on. Again, I missed the very important words of not.
It
Uh,
will not be
hey,
on
Monkey Man.
this.
So what were we saying? I was gonna say something. What were we talking about? House of Dragons. It's like Lion King,
Yeah.
and
And
watching
you like it.
Chainsaw Man
Yeah, Chainsaw Man's very good.
anime. That is out on Hulu. I've been watching it. I
Oh,
have
you're
the ad
watching on
version.
Hulu. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean it's on Crunchyroll, I believe. But
Yeah,
Crunchyroll
that's where I watched it.
sucks. The whole app and website is balls. I was paying
Really?
for it monthly, and I was just trying to cast it to my TV once, and the app was just I reinstalled it twice, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna end my subscription, and
That's
I'm just
weird.
gonna
I
watch
haven't
it
had any
normally.
problems with it.
Oh, dude, I did some research, and apparently the issues I'm having are widespread.
Huh.
So I don't
Yeah,
I
that's
to the point
strange.
where I don't know how they make money, but
They got bought by Sony. So I don't
I don't know
think
if that's good, but
yeah, it's debatably good, debatably bad. It just kind of is, I think.
I think,
Um
yeah. I mean, it
now
legitimizes it in a way because Crunchyroll is kind of an underground thing for a long time.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
Crunchyroll's been around
It
for a very long time.
is one of those interesting things, like the growing monopoly and conglomeration of everything. I don't know
Hmm.
how I feel about it. Like
What is
sometimes I'm
it?
like, that's good, and then sometimes I'm like, I don't think it is.
What is it like? 28 companies own the world or
Yeah,
whatever.
which is
Yeah,
bananas.
It's not hard to like. We live in a society where we actively promote and encourage that, and then we're like, but that's not fair. But you should. Like
So
very, very self defeating.
you said this triggered my ADHD brain that I don't have. Um, but so I've been streaming Batman Arkham Asylum. Great game.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
the Arkham
I haven't
series is
played it
sick.
since it came out. Like it's so like 2009 was the
I
last
prefer
time I
Arkham
played.
City, but Arkham Asylum is the first
Yeah,
classic
just
one.
excellent, just
Yeah,
excellent game. So I've been
it
playing it,
redefined what
and
Batman games could be.
I made the joke because I don't remember how it came up, but somehow Joe Rogan came up. And I said, man, can you imagine like the Joker on fucking Joe Rogan's podcast? Like, can you imagine how that would be? Like Joker, he would be like, "So, Joker, you said we live in a society. That's crazy, man. Wow. Jamie, pull that up." Like,
Hmm.
can you just and then he's like, "That's crazy, Joker. Have you ever done DMT?" "No, Joe, I haven't." Like, and you know he's gonna kill him at the end of the episode.
Death,
But yeah.
mangling, and torture. Of course, I have.
Yeah, yeah. But it just cracked me up like real hard just imagining Joker on like fucking the Joe Rogan experience and just how oh man, it's yeah.
That'd be
What
fun.
if yeah, I think it'd be interesting. He he's
The
interesting.
the
I watched
They're both
Uh,
Joker brained, so.
it very much. Have you are you familiar with Liver King at all?
Oh,
Have you
yeah,
seen
he's
the
been on the H3 podcast recently.
Okay,
He
he
was
was. All
apparently at
right.
Texas Renaissance Festival. One of my friends ran into him and took a selfie, and I was like, "What the fuck? How'd I miss him? He's
He
huge."
he's from Texas. Like he lives in Texas.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, he was at Texas. He was at Barbarian Weekend. The one weekend he would be there,
I
because
mean,
he's a
that's just
barbarian. Uh,
I saw Joe Rogan get real mad about him because he's like, "This dude is on fucking steroids," and he absolutely is, but he's like, I'm not. I just, I'm not." And it's like, but you are for you for sure are." Like, yeah, he is jacked though. I give him his credit. He puts in the work, but he's on steroids.
I don't know enough about it. I know he is unreasonably jacked. He looks dehydrated,
Very
and
red.
very red boy.
Might want to get your fucking blood pressure looked at, my man, because you're very red.
I don't
Not
think
in a
he's
good way.
healthy. I think he's healthier than a lot of people. I don't think he's healthy.
Yeah.
He's very muscular. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know nearly enough about this shit to say it
I
with
saw
like
I saw
confidence.
him saying that like cholesterol's not a thing that anybody should be worried about. It's not real. We just can't explain it, so we call it cholesterol. And I'm like, I don't think that's how that
I
works.
think it's a very clearly defined thing, isn't it? But I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know nearly enough about that kind of thing. But I know I think he's going to be back on the H3 podcast actually and be debating a doctor soon
Oh,
about
that's a
this.
fucking mistake on his part.
I want to say maybe it's not Liver King he's doing. Maybe it's another doctor that agrees with him or something like that. But anyway,
Yeah, no, that's he's an interesting character for sure. And I know Joe Rogan's super pissed at him because he's like he's fucking on steroids. He's like he needs to be honest and just admit that he's on steroids. He's full of shit. And I'm like, oh, Joe, damn.
well,
Because
that's his
is
shtick.
on Joe Rogan's on testosterone. He's admitted it. He's like,
I
I
bet
don't.
say I don't think he should be lobbing. I mean, I know he's open about it. His whole thing is like
Yeah,
the deception thing, right? I don't
yeah,
watch Joe
yeah.
Rogan. I don't really see the big appeal in Joe Rogan. I know it's weird to say. I don't like him, so I don't want to watch him talk.
Why
um,
don't you like him, Sumner? Jamie, pull that
he's
up. Pull up why Sumner doesn't like Joe Rogan.
he's just such a Chad. He's just
He is.
very I don't know. And there are Chads I like. Like I like Zach Bagans. He's a Chad
He's
as fuck.
great. He's great.
So I can't even like put my thumb on it. Probably because I would hang out with Zach. I would never in a million years hang out with Joe. I would opt out.
I feel like I would hang out with Joe because he and I do share several interests. It's one of those things of like I could hang out with him only if we discussed like these three topics and nothing more, nothing less. If we go
Yeah.
outside of this box of discussion, I have to not speak to you anymore. That's kind
Yeah,
of where I'm at with him.
he drifts really close to a lot of weird, how do I put this, alt opinions.
Yes.
So
That was a very diplomatic way of saying what you're saying.
yeah,
I appreciate that. I like
yeah,
that.
yeah. I'm trying it out more.
That's good.
But
I
yeah,
liked
dude.
it.
Thank
Okay,
you.
good. That's
Alternative
good.
opinion. What is it called? Alternative
Oh,
facts.
Jesus Christ. Or
That's
lies
that's
is
an
what
old
we would
meme.
call
Well, no,
those.
remember alternative facts. I think it was. I want to say was that Trump that said that alternative
No, it was
facts.
his press secretary
Press
or some.
secret. That's right. Was
Yeah,
it Sean
Jesus.
Spicer or whatever?
No, it was. I don't fucking remember her name. The
Oh, the
crazy
girl.
blonde lady. One of
Oh, the
them. There's
God.
been like there was like four.
God. I don't miss those times, but I do
I
miss the
don't.
memes.
The
I
memes were pretty. The memes I think are the only thing that kept us all
kept us
collectively going.
together. Yeah, and
Yeah.
and and now we live in this weird limbo of like just waiting for the other foot to drop, and it's uncomfortable. At least the foot dropped back then. You
Yeah.
knew where your low was, and now we're like just floating in space, waiting for an asteroid to knock us out.
Pretty
But
much.
yeah,
That's the reality is like
the
when
talk
does
about
this
the
asteroid
2024 election is terrifying me.
I
But
I recently made a decision. I'm gonna try and avoid looking at like any political stuff for like 3 months into the
I
new
don't
year. I'm
think you're
gonna
gonna have
try.
much of a choice.
Yeah, and it is hard because it's like so much out there. But I don't know. I just found like I find it's so easy to fall into like that kind of death spiral, so to speak, of just like oh god, we're doomed because it's like people are always saying stupid shit and getting attention for saying stuff. Like, I don't even think most of the time they believe the stupid shit. They just know that they'll get attention for saying the stupid thing. So that kind of thing. Like, it's just, like we live in such a clickbaity fucking world now,
Yeah.
and I'm like, and I'm just electing to not do that. I'm like, I'm just not gonna click. I'm not gonna take the bait. I'm not gonna click on it, and I'm just gonna continue to go about my day. It's almost like a social experiment. I want to see how it's gonna go. Like, if it's not just like, here is just news, like my wife listens to like the Daily Show highlights every day, so I'll hear stuff like that. I'll hear Trevor Noah, and as long as I hear Trevor Noah tell it to me, it's way better than like seeing something like kill all of them on Twitter is trending, and you're just like, well, who are them
Who
and
are
why are we
them?
killing them all?
Are they kittens?
Yeah, and so I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to avoid clicking on like pl- random nonsense that's trending on Twitter, because I'm just like, fuck that.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna do
Yeah.
it. I'm gonna do it for
Well,
as long as I can.
I mean, as long as you can. Do we have a notification? Am I insane?
Are you?
I'm
Probably.
just looking. Oh no, it's the notification that we went live. Okay.
Nice.
I was like,
So, there's something sad that happened very recently. I hate to take us
oh my
into
god, excuse
uh,
me. I'm so sorry.
into it's fine. It's fine. I'm here.
Sad. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Uh, Mr.
well, multiple sad things. Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman from Batman the Animated Series,
Oh, that's
passed
right.
away a couple weeks ago due to a battle with cancer, which is heartbreaking. Um,
Yeah.
he is Batman, like, unequivocally so. Like,
Yeah, like for a long time. And I want to say his most latest Batman project was not that long ago. I think it was pretty recent, wasn't it?
he does a lot of them. I mean, he actually played live action Bruce Wayne in I believe it was Batwoman that he was. It was when they did in the Arrowverse or the Flash universe or whatever, they did the big kind of crossover event. He played live action Bruce Wayne, but
Oh, he was doing the Arkham videos. He did the Arkham
yeah,
games.
he did Asylum, City, Night. He did not do Origins. That's not him. That's Troy Baker.
That's Troy Baker. Okay, I know Troy Baker does a lot of Batman too, but Kevin Conroy is the Batman.
Or
The,
was
the
it
the
Troy
same
Baker?
way. Oh my God,
Mark
Joker.
Hamill.
Mark Hamill is the Joker. Like
Yeah.
it's that profound.
He's a wonderfully sweet man. I got an opportunity to meet him at a convention several years ago, and he was so nice and so kind with his time. And because it's one of those things of like, I feel like meeting celebrities, and you've met several as well. Sometimes it's like a mixed bag. Sometimes they're super cool. Sometimes they're kind of a dick. Sometimes
Mm,
they're just kind of like, meh,
eh,
whatever. Like, they're just there, and they don't even like. They're not mean, but they're not cool either. If that
right,
makes
right.
sense. So he passed, which was incredibly sad. But the thing that I was referring to, the thing that I wanted to kind of talk about a little today, is the passing of Jason David Frank, who is most well known as Tommy Oliver, the green slash white slash red slash Dino Black Dino Thunder. I mean, he was like fucking six different Rangers. But yeah, Jason David Frank just recently passed away as well, rather unexpectedly. What's the best way to describe what happened?
He unalived himself. I'm not sure if
Yes,
I don't know why we can't. I don't know if he can or can't say that, but we don't.
it's out there. I mean,
He's
that's
no
what
longer
happened.
with us due to his
Yeah,
own hand, unfortunately.
very
So
sad.
so and I know it affected quite a lot of people. I didn't grow up with Power Rangers. I saw him across the hall many times at various conventions because he had a heavy presence at comic conventions.
He did. He I just said like people who aren't like cool and celebrities that aren't cool. He was like literally the exact opposite. Pardon me, he was one of the like coolest and most giving celebrities, so much to a point that during the pandemic because a lot of local comic stores were hit hard by the pandemic, because obviously people couldn't come in and buy their comics and
Right.
things like that. So he kind of organized a thing to where local comic stores were doing like signings with different people who've played different Rangers. Like that was all him. It was like an initiative that he organized to get different Power Rangers actors to kind of like go to different shops during the pandemic, masked up and distanced and all that good stuff. But he did it specifically to kind of help rejuvenate and save a lot of stores that were impacted heavily from the pandemic, and he famously had at cons what he would call the last fan standing. It did not matter how long the line was, how many people there were, or how long it took. He would not leave until he got every
Mhm.
single person. The convention lights could be turned off. Everyone else could be gone. It could be like if the show ended at 6 and it's 9:30, he's still there if there's people in line. And that like that was his thing. He's like, nope, we go to the last fan standing. I don't care. I will compensate the convention workers. I will do whatever I have to do, but I will not leave uh, any fan wishing that they got their opportunity or moment or what have you. So
Mhm.
um, to me, that's amazing because it's like you don't have to do that, but he chose to do that. He elected to do
Mhm.
it, made it a thing, made it fun. Like he would often get up and like pump up people in the line, if they've been waiting for a while, just to put smiles on faces. Incredibly accomplished martial artist, like legitimately accomplished martial artist.
Is that actually
He
him in the suit?
uh
'Cause I
for
know
the
they all do martial arts, like, they do their own stuff, but do you know if that's actually
some
him in the
stuff
suit?
is him, some stuff they used from the Super Sentai.
Oh, okay. That would make
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, some of it is him though. I can't remember if it's the Green Ranger or the White Ranger, but like some of some stuff is him, some stuff is not him.
Oh, okay. Because I know
Yeah,
the Green Ranger
I'm
turns into the White Ranger, right?
yes, correct. Uh,
I've never watched a single episode.
it was a little
I
past your
watched,
time.
what's it called? Beetleborg?
Yeah,
Beetle?
Beetleborgs. Yeah,
I thought those were Power Rangers as a kid.
that
So
makes sense.
I
I think it
told
was
people
made
for
by
years I
Saban.
watched Power Rangers, and then when I started, like, describing scenes, I confused a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, "Yeah, the Beetleborgs, when
Yeah,
they
the
borg
Blue
up their
Beetle guy?
beetles." They're like, what are you talking about
My
right now?"
favorite.
But no, he's an incredibly accomplished martial artist, legitimate martial artist, incredibly accomplished. He was an undefeated MMA fighter, like,
Was he
legitimately.
really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
he was badass. He kind of got out of it because he was older when he got into actually fighting
Right,
and
right, right.
like f- fight training is literally one of the worst things you can do for your body. Like training martial arts is one thing, working out in the gym is one thing, but like training to fight in MMA it's literally just one of the worst things you can do for
Yeah,
your body.
I get that.
Um
Well,
but yeah, he was an
so I
undefeated
didn't.
MMA fighter.
Well, I think the big thing is like it's similar to what's the Anthony Bourdain
Yeah.
and even Robin Williams. Nobody knew to what extent he was having to battle his own inner demons and what.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have a deep history with that type of stuff. I completely understand. So the minute when I see someone who is and what it always comes down to is like, especially when you see people, celebrities in particular with that level of
Yeah.
notoriety, care that much about making other people genuinely happy, like Robin Williams,
Yeah.
Anthony Bourdain. Anthony Bourdain is a little different, but and of course the Green Ranger man over here. Especially with you describing like how late he would stay, like how much it meant to him truly.
Yeah.
Like no one getting paid that much gives that actually gives a shit unless they had an incentive. So if
Yeah.
they care that much about other people, it's a good chance they're coming from a really dark place.
Yeah.
From they don't want anyone. The big thing is they don't want others to feel the way they do.
Yeah. And I
That's what it
totally
comes
get
down
that.
to. Um,
I definitely get that. In a lot of ways, like I'm the same way. Like I really want other people to be happy and be in a good place and feel good and things like that. That means a lot to me because I don't want them to feel bad because I know what it's like to feel bad and to be down and things like that.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I definitely understand that.
yeah. That's
It
why it
it
always hits
hit me
hard.
hard, and, like, it's no secret, we've talked about it a few times, I think, before. This has been a really hard year for me,
Mhm.
for across multiple reasons. You know, it's been a lot of death and loss this year, so it's been very hard year, and it just I don't know. It sucks because like obviously you know growing up, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers were my jam. I kind of fell off like when they transitioned over to Turbo. You know, at that point, I was like, well, I don't understand this. Where's my Mighty Morphin? Like, so, like that was a thing for me that I couldn't process as a kid for some reason.
Right, right.
Um, but you know, he of course is my favorite. Never got the opportunity to meet him. I always wanted to, but he's you know direct hand in my interest in martial arts and the reason why I do martial arts and had any thought of like, ooh, that's a thing I'd like to do.
Mhm.
That's you know, traced back to him in part. It's traced back to the Ninja Turtles in part. It's traced back to Bruce Lee. But it's tough because, as you said, it's one of those things that you can't. You you don't seem very surprised because you're like based off of like how you know he is. Like it seems like there was something else there. But for me, it was kind of like, wait, what him? Because he was so positive. He was so just a genuinely great guy, and even though I'm not, he was incredibly religious. Like he started an MMA clothing company called Jesus Didn't Tap. So
Oh my
um
god.
yeah,
I
that
didn't
was
know
his. If you've
that.
ever seen that. Yeah.
That's a little goofy.
Yeah, he was the co-founder of it, I believe.
Yeah, yeah, wholesome but goofy.
Yeah, it is. Like but it's one of those things that I look at that and I'm just like what happened? Like
Mhm.
what you know, what was the thing that made this like genuine strong guy say, "Hey, enough's enough." Like it's just it blows me away and like it's I had the same thing happen when Anthony Bourdain passed and I had no like I didn't watch his show, I didn't read his book, you know, I knew who he was. Like I was aware of who he was and right, you know, last few years of his life, he got into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Like he got like heavily into it and was like training and things like that. And I remember when he passed, it hit me like super, super hard because I'm like, this guy was like a fucking $2 steak. He was tough as nails. Like he was a guy. He said what he
A
wanted. He did
$2
what he wanted.
steak. I've never
Yeah, you
heard
like
that
that?
before.
He was just he you know he was so strong and so headstrong and driven. And it was like, wait, what fucking what made him say, yeah, I'm done? Like it just I couldn't process it. Like I couldn't understand. Like I don't know. It's weird, and in a lot of ways with JDF, it's the same thing. Is I'm
Mhm.
like, wait, what? How? Like
Yeah.
I just can't understand it. Like I just my brain can't process it. It's so weird to me.
Well, yeah, because they're proposing two completely separate, when you're presenting two ends of the same spectrum at the same time,
Yeah,
uh, ultra positivity and production, then you realize that they were doing all of that because that's how they cope with their other extreme. They
yeah,
have to balance themselves out, but sometimes that it's like being on a fulcrum, on a seesaw, basically a teeter totter,
yeah,
and sometimes it leans too far to one end, uh, and sometimes it's the wrong end. And
yeah,
it's when it does that, it's harder to get out. The way I describe depression, especially depression that leads you to that, um, because I've attempted a few times myself, not to like overshare or anything, but like I'm just saying I've been there.
I mean,
Um,
it's what we're here to.
and
It's what we do here.
yeah,
We
yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
yeah.
mental health.
It feels like when you're sinking deeper and deeper, like say like you're in the ocean or something, and like
Yeah,
the cold depth beneath you is just becoming colder and colder, and eventually you don't feel anything, but the
yeah,
weight of the water on top of you just gains. You don't
yeah.
feel any worse, but the concept of you swimming up becomes impossible.
I think that's part of it for me is just like how I saw depression like growing up. My grandmother has pretty severe depression.
Hmm.
And I remember like she would just stay in bed literally all day. And like that was depression. Like that's what it was. It was just the you can't get out of bed. You're so sad. You don't want to do anything and you just kind of lay around and mope for lack of a better term. And
Hmm.
so I think that's why it's like with Robin Williams, Anthony Bourdain, JDF, like I'm like that's where my brain just can't connect it because it's like, but they weren't that. They were the opposite of that. They were like, outgoing and let's go, let's do and achieve and all that stuff. And my, experiences with depression and things like that, it's been the like, well, I'm just gonna fucking lay here. And that seems like a good call to just lay here and
Yeah.
not move and not do anything.
I think the
I
hardest
know.
part about all of this is the concept of like seeing your heroes fall.
Yeah.
And I never
No, it's
experienced that
incredibly
until
hard.
Robin Williams. And I never thought I could be affected by a celebrity death. And I know I'm not remotely unique situation by saying that Robin Williams' death, really, really affected me. So I really empathize with those that are really affected by his as well. Um, I don't think I know anyone who felt that strongly with Anthony Bourdain, just because he had more of a gruff kind of
Yeah.
outer. He wasn't trying to please everyone.
Yeah.
Um, he was a lot more real.
Yeah.
But but
I think that was why it hit me. And again, because like I said, I didn't have like a super personal connection to him, but I think that's why it affected me was because he was like gruff and kind of like, "Oh, I don't give a shit what you think." That
so
sort of like, he was a hard
everyone
man.
presents their other end of that extreme so differently.
Yeah.
It's poor guy.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, thoughts go
it,
out to his
it's
family, and
it's
I
awful.
can't
It's one of those things
I
that
can't imagine.
there was an MMA fighter that recently passed as well. He was 38 years old, died of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Mhm.
Incredibly skilled fighter, like really loved by a lot of people, and he just passed recently. And I was listening to a couple of guys kind of talk about it, and they were like, "I wish he could hear all the wonderful things that people are saying. Like I wish that he like was able to see how celebrated and loved he was because he kept his illness very very close to the chest. It was one of those
Well,
like
it's so
literally like on
personal.
Monday it
Yeah.
was, hey, he's having a tough time, so if you guys like just keep him in your thoughts that'd be great. And then like Tuesday it was like he's gone. Like it was that just that close to the vest that quick. And it was one of those things of like and I thought about that and I was like, man, we should do that. We should celebrate people more while they're here, and particularly in the case of like
Yeah,
JDF or
I
Williams, things like that. I don't know
the
if it makes a difference. I don't know if it helps, but
the thing is,
maybe.
it's when that monster is got its grips in you, it's got its claws in you. It'll link to anything you can, and it's hard. It's so easy to blame the things that make you upset, but
Yeah.
the so like, people are talking shit about me. I don't like it. People don't like me. It's You're gonna completely ignore all the positivity because that negativity is somewhere to be found,
Yeah.
and so ultimately it comes down to the person and how they're coping and what they do and what kind of support system they have personally.
Yeah.
So that I think you're right. I think ultimately, yeah, that would help. I think spreading that type of positivity is always fucking better.
I
And
agree.
I'm sure it'll mitigate to some extent, but the 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 issue it's internal.
Yeah.
They need
No, no,
people,
it definitely
and
is.
I'm
I'm
glad
not
we're
saying
finally.
that
Well,
like
no,
magically,
I don't think you are. I don't think you are. I was just saying like as long as they are taking care of themselves,
Yeah.
like as long as like I'm so glad that we're moving into we're transitioning to a new era where like saying like
Yeah.
mental health is real health. Like I saw my job send an email out saying like mental health is real health, and that was, I know that's not groundbreaking to me, but like
Yeah.
it is, like in the past 20 years,
No, it's
like
incredibly
no,
groundbreaking.
I mean, there's fucking dickheads out there saying, "Oh, you're depressed, go to the gym." Like, fuck you. Like, I can't. That's still out there, and that's just
Yeah.
bananas to me.
You know what? It's fake. That
Like,
shit's fake. When people say that, it's like you're full of shit. Like you are full of shit to say like,
yeah,
"Oh, you're sad." You know what I do when I'm sad? I just stop being sad and just be awesome.
like
Like
Tommy
it's like,
Oliver, he worked out a lot. Like, do you want to? Not
yeah,
Tommy Oliver. I can't read Tommy Oliver. I was reading his character, Tommy
Jason
Oliver.
David, JDF,
Jason
yeah.
David Frank. Yeah, Tommy
Yeah, he
Oliver.
every fucking day he worked out, he
Yeah, I
did
know.
katas, he did
Just fucking.
meditation every single day. He
Yeah.
he was doing stuff. Anthony Bourdain, he worked out constantly because again, he started doing jujitsu, worked out every single day. That is bullshit. there is a wonderful organization within the jujitsu community called Submit the Stigma, and it is about defeating or raising awareness for mental health, depression, suicide, things like that. And it's great, and it's a lot of people that are in the hardcore grapple, you roll, bro, if you don't roll you don't know, like this stupid
Yeah, yeah.
macho horseshit. It's people who are legitimately being vulnerable and saying like, yeah, I had a really tough time. Here's my story. Here's how jujitsu's helped me. Here's the things that I've been, things like that. And I love that because we don't get that enough. We need more of that, like defeating fucking toxic horse shit. Um,
And if I
because
don't know, you're right, you're totally right. It's just I feel like we're just kind of preaching to the choir to the majority of the people, Majority,
yeah,
I feel like most people agree with like what we're saying. Like it's like,
yeah.
yeah, obviously. Like
Let
but
someone fucking be like, actually, fuck that. And I'll be
yeah,
like, yeah,
like
fuck
okay,
you.
cool. Okay, go talk to your one friend, dog. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. I'm sure you have a great relationship with your parents.
Yeah,
Not
why
that
don't
I'm
you
one to
go to
talk.
bodybuilding.com forums and talk about how you own the libs? Fuck.
Yeah, own those libs, buddy, as if the libs aren't owning themselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, they dude, speaking of his super ADHD thoughts, sorry. It's my
You're
turn.
good.
Remember
Yeah, yeah,
earlier when you said Kevin Conroy that he was really nice in person, not everyone is.
yeah.
Did I ever tell you the story that when I went to we won a cosplay contest and we ended up going with the directors of an anime convention to Hawaii when they tried to branch off into a Hawaii branch of their conventions,
I don't
and they
think
invited
so.
a
No.
bunch of they invited. So I'll tell you from my perspective, and then you'll
Sure.
better understand the convention.
Okay.
So it's an anime convention, so cosplay, that type of thing. Not a lot of people showed up because it for a lot of reasons. But anyway, um, but we went in the off time. The director of this convention loves to like party and like get
Yeah.
everyone together, get all the guests together, and just have a good time. Get a bunch of food. One of the things we did was, and I ended up becoming friends with him and stuff, to some extent. Um, we went on a small cruise, a cruise thing. It was like a
Yeah.
bay in Hawaii, and it was like a pirate
It's pretty
ship.
rad.
We knew that it was gonna be a pirate ship too. It was like
Yeah.
a ship. It was like just a party of people. Like there was no strangers on there.
Yeah.
It was just our group, and then they sailed us around for like 3 or 4 hours. We were just
Yeah.
talking and hanging out, so we decided to do One Piece costumes. I'd never seen anime though, the One Piece anime, but I was Sanji. For those who know, I don't and didn't. So we got a fun little photo shoot while we're on the pirate ship. It was really
Yeah, it's
cute.
awesome.
Yeah. But while we were there, I ended up meeting one of our good friends who's still a good friend to us today. He was the head designer of Putumayo, a Lolita brand, and there's a couple other ones, the designers there. And then there was this guy I was talking to, and I was like, "Hey," because he was my height, and I was just like,
That's
"Oh
cool. We're the
shit,
same height.
dude." When you don't know somebody, it's
You're looking for
you're
it.
like,
You're
yeah.
grasping at straws or
And
something.
he was with his wife, and we were just waiting around for a long time because it just took
Yeah.
forever. And I was just like, "Hey, how are you doing? I'm Sumner," and he goes, "Oh, I'm Crispin." Like, cool. Are you here with like Matsuri also? And he's like, "Hmm." I was like,
You had no fucking
"All
idea that it
right."
was Crispin Freeman, did you?
No, I had no idea it was Crispin Freeman. And he was very like, "You know who I am. Stop playing coy." And I was just
Oh
like,
shit! And
he was
knowing you
honestly,
had no fucking
honestly,
idea
if
who
I
he
could be
was.
honest, kind of an asshole.
Really?
So I was like, fuck that guy. Like first impressions, I'm sure he's fine. I'm sure I misread it and overanalyzed. I'm sure I did, but that was my first impression. And I walked away being like, okay.
A
So I
dickhead.
went to go talk to a really nice shorter lady, red hair. And I was like, "Hey, like, how are you?" She goes, "I'm having a great time. I've been to Hawaii a couple times." I'm like, "Oh, so you travel a lot?" And I had no idea. She's the English voice actor for Naruto. It was so I didn't recognize any of these
Well, okay,
huge
like, alright.
names.
Let's
I
wait.
She was really fucking nice, and I think she probably also suspected that I knew who she was, and I certainly didn't. I
So,
was looking up,
okay,
yeah,
like,
Molly Flanagan,
yeah.
insanely nice woman. I remember looking her up, being like, "Oh, who is the voice actor?" Because I didn't even know who she was by the end of the trip.
Yeah,
I
because
didn't.
you weren't watching Naruto at the time,
I wasn't
right?
watching Naruto. I was
You're like,
watching.
I don't fucking know. I'm
I
honestly, I wouldn't know who she was. Yeah,
dude.
I would sit.
When I
Yeah.
first started watching Naruto earlier this year, I looked up the voice actor. What does she look like? 'Cause I heard it was a woman, and
You're
I was
like,
like,
oh, I know
what
her.
the fuck? I've met her. I hung out with her for hours.
I love it.
I hung.
So, like, okay, let me fucking look, Crispin, Mr. Freeman, if you
Mr.
will.
Freeman, look, and
Um,
it was like months before Overwatch's release too.
well, he
So
was fucking famous before that. He was
he
Alucard
was, yeah.
from
Well,
Police
he's a bunch of
Girl.
stuff, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But
he's done a ton.
I first realized who he was when I was looking up Overwatch voice actors, and I'm like, oh, he's
Oh, hi,
Winston.
Winston here. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. He's very, very talented. And he's in
No,
a lot of
he
shit.
is,
He's
and
like, he's Matt Mercer everywhere.
don't fucking be that guy though. You're a voice actor. People
Ah,
don't see your fucking face. I mean, okay, admittedly, when he was like, "I'm Crispin," I guess the thought was like, he'll know how many fucking people are named Crispin. And it's like, well, Crispin Glover is also a guy named Crispin, but
one of
whatever.
my favorite books
Uh,
growing up was the book called Crispin. I was like, oh, cool. I knew a book called Crispin. That's all.
huh.
I don't.
At least you'd be like, oh, what do you do for a living?
No, I didn't. To me, I feel like because I knew I was around high profile people asking them who
Yeah,
did what, because I didn't want to assume because usually they bring a lot of lackeys, like friends, family,
sure. Yeah,
or
yeah.
like translators is a big thing. So I don't want to assume someone's a translator or assume someone's like, oh, I just carry their bags or
Yeah.
whatever. I just assume everyone's the same.
Yeah. That's
Uh,
fair. That's good. That's a
because
good.
I didn't know
That's good.
maybe he was there for his wife. And the wife was the guest. I didn't.
Yeah,
I'm never gonna
very
ask
possibly.
what do you do.
That's funny that
Um,
he was just kind of like, you fucking know who I am.
I'm like, I've
You
never
know.
seen your fight. And not to mention, like, he's a
What
very
year
good
was this?
voice actor, so I wouldn't have recognized his normal voice.
Yeah.
He
So what
doesn't.
year is this?
Oh Lord, it must have been 2015, 20,
Uh,
24.
nah, I don't know. He was kind of being a dickhead. A little bit. That's a little like, come on, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
let me
maybe
find
okay.
out.
Maybe he just
Let me
wasn't
see.
wanting to talk to you. Like, maybe he was just like, who's this fucking guy who's the
2015. I
same
nailed
height
it.
as me
2015. Yep.
walking up to me, talking to me? How dare he? Doesn't he know who I am? At least he can get you one of those. At least, do you know who I am? But he says
Yeah,
it
it
in
could
the
have been
Winston
worse.
voice. He's like,
Yeah,
"Do
yeah.
you know who I am?"
I think I actually met him later on, and he was way nicer. So I think I was, but that was what stuck. And I
Maybe
was
he was just having a bad day.
No, and
It's-
I mean, he was traveling. The convention was not successful. And when you're
okay,
traveling, anything can go wrong. It literally, maybe he shat his pants, and he just made it. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he had
that's a
some bad
possibility.
seafood. I
If the
don't
convention didn't go well, I could definitely see how that would be
know.
frustrating and leave
Yeah,
like a bad taste in your mouth because I, I don't know the details of like the gentleman who ran the convention. I don't know what the pay structure was like
don't get me
or
started.
anything.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if like he was covering their travel and expenses and all that kind of stuff. If they were responsible
It
for
could have
it,
been anything like that. With that convention, you never know. So
yeah,
yeah,
so maybe he had the expectation of like, oh, we're gonna go to this convention. It's in
yeah.
Hawaii. That's awesome,
It
and
could have been anything. Yeah,
we're gonna make a lot of money, and then like he didn't make any money, and
yeah.
like
Total
yeah,
benefit of the doubt. It's just fun to call Crispin Freeman an asshole.
to be like, oh, let me tell you something.
Crispin, if
You
you're
know who
watching, and I know
you
you
should have looked
are.
at him. You said, you fucking
No.
know who I am. I'm Tummy Numner. I
I'm
have a
Tummy
pet pig
Numner.
named Baxter. Did you know that?
Yeah, Baxter.
It's
Sumner
like,
would have
what?
gone on to have Tummy Numner be his screen name 5 years later.
You,
'Cause back then it
saw into the
was-
future.
What was my screen name back then? I think it was like, oh my god, what was my screen name?
I don't know. I just assumed you used Tummy Numner like forever. Maybe that's on me. Maybe I'm
Takuza.
the asshole instead
Takuza.
of Crispin Freeman.
It was Takuza.
Takuza,
Yeah,
like taco, but Yakuza.
it was. Yeah.
Because you worked at Taco Bell, isn't that it?
No, but that's funny.
No, just a
That's
strange
way better.
coincidence.
I was just trying to think of a screen name, and I was like, just trying to come up with like just a word,
I like it.
like Bladagu,
Block.
Kimbago, Takuza, like
I
very.
had a weird. It's a weird segue, but this made me think about it because I saw something. I saw like a random post online, just like scrolling on the internet. There, you know, we don't have to go into like super details on this if you don't want, but Pro Jared what a fucking
Yeah, he's
journey that guy has been on. Did you know, and this
I've
is what
met
I
him too.
saw,
Yeah.
and this just kind of like took me off guard. He's doing ads for GameStop now.
Is he fucking really?
Mhm.
Because
But not like,
I was friends with his wife Heidi for a little bit, but
yeah, not like power to the player, not like like an actual commercial, but
I'd
kind
say
of like
friends, but
it's like kind of one of those. It is an ad, but it's not like a commercial. He's basically just like, "Hey, when I worked at GameStop, I blah blah blah," and he'll tell like a little anecdote, and then it's like, if you shop at GameStop, this will happen or whatever. It's like one of those kind of things where it's,
uh, I don't
yeah,
know.
but I'm just
Yeah,
like, man, what a
dude.
journey. Because I remember when like his world kind of blew up from accusations, which were
Yeah,
later
that's an old
proven
meme,
to,
but yeah.
yeah,
Interesting, he's doing that. 'Cause, for those who don't know, the Pro Jared thing happened I wanna say 5 years ago? It was a while
yeah,
ago.
4 or 5 years ago. Yeah, it's been a
He
minute.
was he basically super long story, super short, uh, had an unfaithful relationship outside of his marriage, which I believe already had an arrangement in the
Mhm.
poly field.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But again, unfaithful, meaning no communication and not in good play.
Mm.
Um, with what's her face, the wife of one of the Game Grumps,
Commander
um,
Holly. No,
Commander
she
Holly. No,
was
that's
one of
her.
the guys that works with the Game Grumps. Ross.
Ross.
Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah. Yeah. So there, that's pretty much it. And then it a lot of Pro Jared's like private DMs came up, and he was doing a lot of other shit. Where there's like a thread where people would just like send him like nudes and stuff, and like
yep.
he wasn't vetting ages and stuff, and a
No,
couple people came out being like, "Hey, I was coerced to do this when I was younger," and it was very it was, and then
it
he
was
accused him of
gross.
being lying, and it was very messy
It
to the
was
point
super
of like
messy.
this wasn't okay before all of this became messy,
Yeah,
uh, and then I remember his sub count shut the fuck down. What
it
happened to
fell
his
off a
Reddit?
cliff.
Something happened to his Reddit. Uh,
They shut it down.
I think they just shut it down.
Yeah, the
Um,
mods were like locked. Like,
yeah, I think the mods like revolted. They're like, "Fuck this!"
mhm.
Like,
Yeah, yeah, they were
and
super super pissed.
yeah, because they're not going to defend him and like have them ruin. Yeah, um, that's bad karma. But
Reddit
and
did.
then
I love
his
it.
I want to say he had a lot of subs. I want to say one or two mil, and I could be wrong. Maybe
Maybe
it's a lot less than that.
yeah, he had a lot, and he was actually starting to partner with larger brands. Like
Hmm.
he was starting to get kind of like love with Wizards,
Yeah,
because he's
he's
a
getting
big Magic
momentum.
guy.
Yeah, yeah,
I remember distinctly when they announced like the latest Mega Man game, he was a part of that like announcement panel, and I was like, that's
yeah. They
weird because
dropped him
he's
like a
not a Mega
hot
Man guy like at all. Like
potato.
that's not what he's known for.
So
But
how's he
he was
doing?
kind of a name.
I don't even like
So
seeing his face. I remember meeting him a couple times because, like I said, I competed. We cosplayed. We competed with Heidi a lot.
yeah,
Her
I
his
you've
ex wife.
never said really anything positive about him. Not like you've said negative, but
I
I've never heard you be like,
preface.
he's a
I
nice
don't
guy.
know them on a personal level,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
massive grain of salt with everything I say. He's just very standoffish, very rude, to be honest.
yeah.
And that's not uncommon from other people I know who know
It
him.
comes off through his videos sometimes that
Yeah,
he's kind of not
yeah, he's not a team
dickish,
player.
that's
Let's
not
put
the
it that
right
way.
word.
There's a reason he makes videos by
Coarse.
himself. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think he's got a good sense of humor, but he's uh, and I think Heidi was the better part of him.
Yeah.
But Heidi also had her own stuff. But that's neither here nor
That whole
there.
situation was incredibly messy because it was three people
They're both
who,
very
to an
messy.
extent, four people technically, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, Heidi's very attention seeky.
Yeah,
But she had every
it
right to be upset at the same time. So it's like,
yeah.
okay,
It was a lot. It was a big explosion of drama, but it was just funny because I knew that your circle sort of overlapped with his a bit, and I
yeah,
saw that it seems that he's kind of, I don't want to say landed on his feet because I don't think that's quite the term I'm looking for, but it seems that he is kind of climbing out of the muck that he found himself in for several years, and I can't imagine how. I can't imagine what that's like. You know, making your making your money online and being so dependent on like ads and partnerships and things like that is man, that's wild.
Oof, God, I'm like skimming this video of
Yeah, I'm like,
the
it's just
li-
it gets
the rise and
worse.
fall of Pro Jared, and man, and I remember when it was big news and everyone's like, "Ooh, you see that mess over there?" We're like, I know like the delusion from Heidi and Jared's perspective of like, "Oh, they're on my side. These people are on my side." No, everyone was like, "That is
Yep,
messy." Like
that was that's
everyone's
what
like, "Do
my
you see
takeaway
this
was.
shit?"
Is I'm like, there's nobody on anybody's side. Everybody is
Everyone
like
is on Ross's side right now. Everyone's on Ross's side. Where Ross is just like, I was just cheated on, and that's as
that.
far as it went.
It's
Uh,
funny that you mentioned that. Um, there has been some accusations levied against Ross lately
are they
from
really?
his ex-wife.
I
Yeah.
don't keep track of the grumps at all. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, I don't know that how heavily he's associated with the Grumps anymore. I think he is, but he kind of does like his own thing now.
What's the
But
tea? I want to know.
well, his ex-wife, because as you know, like Twitter's been going through a really weird time, where people are like, "Is it gonna go away? Is it gonna shut down?" Well, I noticed the other day that she was like, "Hey, I don't know if Twitter's gonna be here, but my ex-husband forced me to have sex with him every 3 days, whether I wanted to or not. So there you go. That's a thing." Yeah, and I'm like, that is a fucking
Forced. Uh,
she did not
like
super elaborate. She later deleted
that sounds like a highly nuanced situation. Once again,
it was, and she deleted the original tweet and then like kind of put some follow up
that's
stuff.
kind of a rape allegation, is it not?
Kind of, yeah. She marital rape is what she referred to it as.
She referred to it. Oh, she actually
Yeah,
outright said that.
yes,
Whoa, that's
she did, because she's like, I did
why don't
it because
people
I
go
was
to the
trying to
police
be a
instead
good
of making
wife.
tweets? I don't understand. But
Yeah, it
that's not that she isn't. She deserves to be listened to and validated. But my God,
people came after her really hard with the pro Jared Heidi situation because she was kind of the third person
yeah, yeah,
involved, and so people came after her and like tried to cancel her, and
yeah. Because
because
people don't understand like her relation. I mean, the whole thing was just so
oh my god,
goddamn
I just
private.
obliterated this fucking cut on the back of my hand on my desk. Oh,
Nice,
that hurt.
dude. You okay?
Yeah,
You
I'm
bleeding?
good.
Yeah, you
Ow, son of
bleeding.
a bitch. No, no, I'm good. Uh, anyway,
Don't you bleed out on me,
but
boy.
so she and because he obviously has like a following and his association with the Game Grumps, that fan base is extremely rabid, is to put it lightly. So she was like, I'm worried, I'm scared, but I didn't want to be quiet, blah blah blah. Good lord, he looks like shit right there in that video. I'm sorry that he oof. Anyway, um but no, so that was a thing I saw the other day and I was like, oof, that is odd that you threw this out now. But again, she's yeah, it's so again, it seems like the mess is started up again. I don't know, man. It's
I
wild.
all of that is just. It sounds so goddamn. Is that Peanut Butter Gamer?
Yeah, he
Yeah, it
used
is.
to be they used to be real close boys. I don't know that they I don't know. I don't know if they
Interesting.
are anymore.
Peanut Butter Gamer is definitely someone I want to meet. I think I said that in a bunch of podcasts
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah, you're like, I would
I
meet
was
that
told I
guy.
look like him way too much, and I'm like, I feel like I need to see him.
He's
I
like the
want.
great
I
value
feel like
summoner.
our
Like,
circles are close enough where I feel like someone must have told him that he looks like me.
yeah,
Can you
no.
imagine?
You're like the fucking Target. You're the Target version. He's the fucking like Kmart version
Oh,
of
shut
you.
up! No,
You're the Target version
no,
for
no, no, no.
sure.
I
I
do
go
this
to
for fun.
I go to
He does this
Target and I get Summoner.
professionally.
I go to Kmart. I
He's
get
Target.
A PvE.
I'm the litter
You're
on the
Target.
side of the road, but I
Nope,
appreciate
you
you.
were the Target. You
Well,
you were
thanks
the Target.
everyone for joining. I appreciate y'all for coming in. We'll be back next week for more
Can we end
30-day
on a
trials.
positive note? I know it's about time, but
Yeah,
we got a fun anecdote or anything? Something that
yeah,
we don't
yeah.
end out on like it was dreary this episode, so I'm sorry everyone. Weird shit to talk
Okay,
about.
yeah, positive stuff, positive stuff. So we got Christmas coming up. So
Yes.
let's hope that there's no drama with celebrities. Don't cheat unless you're allowed to, which isn't cheating. That's just
It's
communicating and then doing your thing.
yeah,
Um,
it's true.
and don't unalive yourself. Reach out for help. You have friends, you have family,
I
even
not
strangers give a
quite what
shit.
I meant by end on a
Um,
positive note. I meant more of like, do you have a funny thing that happened or like is there
um,
anything? Hey, okay, Christmas is coming up. Christmas is happening soon. Is there anything in particular that you want for Christmas this year that's like you're like, "Ooh, that is a thing that I would like
I
to
have
get."
no idea. I collect Pokemon plushies. I collect duplicates. So there's literally nothing to do. I love I people. That's what I say every time people ask me what I want because I don't come up with a list anymore. I'm not seven. So if I
I am
want something,
literally
I buy
writing a
it.
list right now. Thank you.
My
So,
list of things I want are in the hundreds of dollars each. I would never
oh,
give
that's
that
fair.
list to anyone.
That's
It's
fair.
like power tools and like lights for my room and shit. Like I don't want,
Yeah. That's
kitchen
because I'm not
new
7.
kitchen knives. Like that's
Tremendous
it's
dickhead.
more of like a wedding registry.
Sure,
My
okay, yeah.
what are things
I
on your
have a
list? Are they
few.
like toys? What do you
No, so, like, my dog chewed, the zipper off of my Pikachu Kigurumi, so I can't use it anymore, like, it won't zip up,
uh
so I'll be, like, flashing everybody if I wear it, so I asked for, like, on my list is a Gengar Kigurumi, um,
cute.
so that's a thing that I asked for. It's a little more pricey, but that's a thing that I asked for. Hold on, I'll pull up the list right now
That's cute.
because
Me and
I am
Heather
a
ordered so much
child.
stuff for like each other and our friends. Both of us are like at a Mexican standoff every time we go to the door to get the packages. We're like,
Yeah. Who's it? Well, so generally I'll buy whatever I want. Oh, there's a the 10th Planet Advanced Rubber Guard book. That is the thing that is on my list because I have the other two. I have Mastering the Twister and Mastering the Rubber Guard. And there's a third book that's Advanced Techniques. And then there is Sony made these cute little figures. They're like this big. They kind of look like popples. Is that maybe that's never mind. But it's the hunter from Bloodborne and the doll, and they're a little 2-pack set, and they're really adorable, and
oh,
it's something I've been looking at for a while. So
and I like blind boxes a lot.
yeah,
So
they're kind of like that. They're kind of like blind
like
boxes, but they're a little
oh, he's
little
green.
bigger.
He's got a lot of green on him.
I
Oh
like it.
God, he looks like
And you
this
just
though. It's a little Yuki. They're called
uh,
Yukis.
have you gotten the new Pokemon game yet? That's the question I should have asked.
No, no, I haven't played Pokemon in fucking ages. And this one's called what's it?
The hell's wrong with you?
I like her a
Huh.
lot.
I like the new Pokemon, by the way. It's open world. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I want to play it, but I heard it's busted as fuck.
I have had zero problems.
Really? Okay, that's nice.
Yep. No problems at
I
all.
guess they're just
But yeah,
patching
so
it.
there, that is a positive end to, to a gloomy episode. So thank you everyone for listening.